Welcome to the Pocatello Business Podcast, the only Pocatello podcast focused on providing profits for Pocatello people. If you love our town and love small business, you are in the right place.
Okay, last episode we talked about core values and hiring a little bit, quite a bit actually. In this episode we're going to be talking and covering a little more about strategic ways of positioning your company and also your financials and knowing your numbers.
So, as a business owner, how often do you have a problem hit your plate where a truck breaks down and you're like, do I fix it? Do I replace it? Or you have, oh man, we're too busy right now. We might need another person.
Yeah.
We're busy. I need help.
Yeah.
How do you know that's not an efficiency problem or that you're actually getting more busy? You're getting more work, you're growing.
That's true.
Or, there's multiple issues that hit your desk, right? And sometimes that can be lonely.
Yeah.
But as you can analyze it and know your numbers, and why I wanted to say this is because I can truly tell you and admit that I really never quite had a grasp on, WIP, like our work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
In our industry, we end up funding projects for a long time. So one of the
insurance,
a myth about our industry,
sure,
is that you get paid quickly. Or maybe people know that, but you don't get paid very quickly.
Yeah, I would assume not. Yeah.
And
insurance companies are always a delight to work with, aren't they? So
some of them are great, some of them aren't. Some mortgage companies. But and the other thing I would say, speaking on that, would be that it's easy. Sometimes it's like, oh, that's easy. Well, you go through it and you're like, man, my insurance alone this year was, wow, that was a lot. Or my software, I've spent $40,000 in software this year. Like, there's a lot. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
or workers' comp went up. That where goes the safety comes in. Like it just helps. Yeah.
But what I was getting at is one thing that I didn't have a great grasp on was the work in progress. So in construction, how often do you hear someone say, when you say, hey, how you doing? What's the next thing you're going to say? Are you busy? And they're going to be like, yeah, man, I'm busy. I'm crushing it. I'm busy. And they may be busy, but it doesn't mean that they're making money.
Oh yeah. I've been there before.
Haven't we all?
I've been real busy with not making money.
Yeah. And how do you know if it's actual growth or if it's actual just busy?
Yeah.
And you're not making money. And I think you've hit on it, like with what you've said and kind of helping you remove yourself from the day-to-day. Always, you need to be in the weeds to know what's going on, but there's time where you don't need to be in the weeds.
There's time you have to make shareholder decisions and not, employee of the company decisions. Like you have to sometimes back up and say, okay, I'm a shareholder. I'm not working in the company. As a shareholder, how am I going to is this company being profitable right now? And how would I handle the situations being completely removed? So that's what I do. Yeah. You have to just make those hard decisions, even though you guys are the CEOs and the shareholders are above the CEOs though. So you have to take that CEO hat off sometimes and say, how is the CEO performing? How is this doing? And make those decisions. But how do you make those decisions based on because I don't have a fleet. I only have a couple vehicles. That's something that interests me because you mentioned that. Like what goes through your mind? What's that thought process that when something breaks down and the perfect chaos happens, walk me through how you make that decision of do I repair it? Do I replace it? Do I hire someone else?
Well, this is actually something that we're currently working on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, and I would add, Bret, that's what I'm trying to point out by knowing your numbers. So for example, if you don't, like for us, we'll end up putting out money into projects because we fund it, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to pay the sub? Who's going to pay the employee or the team member throughout the duration of that project? And then we wait for the money. We need to know how much money we have out there. And we can plan on, and monitoring that. So the decision-making process, what you just talked about, you have to know your decision-making process. Mm-hmm. Who oversees the CEO? Even if it's not actually a different person, even if it seems schizophrenic because it's you in both roles, you just need to understand which role you're in and your decision-making process. Yep. That's been very inspiring for me to learn as of recent with our consultant. And then even past that, what we've done is by knowing our numbers better, there's a lot of tools out there that can help you know your numbers. And you pointed out a few on your show and stuff. And there's a lot of industry specific strategic tools that can help you. But and we got one that helps us, but also, you know, if you need to know how you're billing it, right? Because if you need to replace that truck, it's just a numbers question. If you have that truck that goes down, right?
Yep.
So we have, 39 vehicles in our fleet. Oof. And trucks go down.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
and it sucks.
Yeah, that's right? And you got to have them. Certain businesses just have to have them, and you're one of them.
Yeah, we have to have them. And so lately, we just analyzed the numbers. We said, okay, how much are we spending on an annual basis for fuel, repairs, maintenance, all of the whole thing? And then we just recently partnered with a leasing program. Cool. And we're piloting that to see if it'll work well, because what ends up happening, it's like an equity lease thing. So we will lease it for a certain amount of time. And then at the end of that lease, if there is equity in the vehicle, we can roll it into the next one, or we can keep the equity, whichever we decide. But that's been helpful because what happened, like for us, what we used to do, we used to just buy a vehicle. We tried to find a good deal. It took us a while to search for it. We'd find it, we'd buy it, and then we'd keep it until it was dead.
Yep.
And then to the ground. Just recently, we had like 4 or 5 vehicles all at once hit the dirt. And we're like, oh no, geez.
Yeah. And right when a big wave of work is happening, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's always that way. And
so, but I mean, for us, we looked at the cash flow position. We looked at, so let's try it out. So we ended up getting a handful of vehicles that way. And overall, we should save $40,000 this year by just doing this program.
That's amazing. So I love anything that gives you more consistency on your month-to-month P&Ls. If you can rely on, okay, this is my fleet, my lease payments. They're brand new vehicles. They're under warranty. No major repairs are going to be coming your way, so that you can kind of take that out of your plate, except for windshield wipers and that stuff. That's huge for me, is being able to have reliance in each month, knowing, okay, that's my cost. Like once,
because you know your number, right? And that's something that I was fooling myself.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, here's my estimate. Here's what we should project. And, look at the end.
Yeah.
Look at your end indicators of how you did.
That's right.
And if you run your business like that, then you're fooling yourself that you actually know your numbers going into it.
Yep. And anytime you can move a variable cost into a fixed cost, you're winning. I feel like
that you've got something. You talked to us about, outsourcing a few things that you do. I think that's cool.
Virtual assistants. Yeah.
I mean, so
that's cool insight.
Yeah.
I think what I do like about, another thing about what you're doing here is providing profits for Pocatello people.
There you go.
That, and I love the jingle, but they talk about Buy Idaho, right?
Yeah.
And that's not a jingle. That's a real thing. It helps out.
Yeah.
And by listening to folks on the show, I thought, you know what? When I go get a burger or lunch, maybe I ought to go to the local person.
That's right.
And it helps.
It does.
And we're business owners here, and why didn't we think about that?
That's right. Yeah. Who are the ones sponsoring all the softball games, the Little League games, high school sports? Like, it's local businesses. So if you want that sponsorship for your schools and stuff, like, continue to help local, because they're the ones helping and putting their butts on the line every day to keep things rolling here, so it's good.
That's what I think our community, if you're the type of person, this is just, I'm stepping on a limb here, but if you're the type of person that says, well, this is bad, or I don't think we'll ever change this, or, whatever that may be, political, taxes, whatever it is, people not shopping local.
Yeah.
Well, more often than not, it's just because your belief system needs to be changed. You need to start thinking, okay, how can I contribute?
Yeah.
Less than, well, it's never going to change. Well, it's never going to change unless you do something about it.
That's right.
Rally the troops.
That's right.
Talk to a friend.
That's right. Change is inevitable. And if you don't change within the business, you don't change within your relationships when you need to, you'll flounder and die. So.
Oh man. Change is hard for me. It's, I'm a little slower.
It's tough. because you get comfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So when I first started on the process with my coach a couple of years ago, I was just like, you want me to do what? Like, there's no way I'm doing that. And I implemented my team just like, you want us to do what? I'm like, no, we're going to trust this guy. We're going to trust the process. We're going to make it happen. And everything we implemented was just like, are you kidding me? Like, this is working? Like, holy crap, you know? So
much better.
Yeah, exactly. So don't ever hesitate to change when you see a better avenue to take, you know?
It's going to help me a lot with that.
Well, Bret, I mean, how often do you get that phone call, and maybe it's someone that wasn't happy with our services,
right? And
you get that. How does that feel? How do you take it?
It is the most taxing thing of all to let somebody down, it's you carry it. It's on your shoulder. It feels like an incredible, just a really heavy weight.
But and the question is was that your intent going into it? You know, and that's what you talked about, Spencer. Is so we've implemented a process map so we've really taken more of a structure to the company, and we've said, okay, well, there's not enough bread to go around, so we need to start seeing, okay, we have some checks and balances here to manage expectations, to communicate better, to do some things that we saw that might have been weaknesses, and it's been so motivating and energetic. The energy's changing. Yeah. And we're seeing some cool things just in like 4 to 6 months of what we've really been able to experience. And I love that. Why do we like to help others? You know, that's who you are, Bret. You'll take it personal when you get a call from someone that's like, why isn't this done yesterday? Or, you know, and it's not that, oh yeah, well, we don't want to do it, or we just want to make you mad. That's not the intent. And they know that too. But, and Spencer, you probably had someone who wasn't happy with
we're not perfect, I think no one's perfect.
To copy that from them. So our tagline is your best friend when disaster happens, because of our mascot.
Sure.
We need to find a name for our dog, by the way. But we'll have to say, like, we're not perfect, just like your best friend's not perfect or something. I like it. I like what you're saying, man.
No, it's true. Like, and you brought up a good point, because complaints happen. Yeah. Any company has them. Doesn't matter what company it is, you know, and
if they're in a stressful situation,
or is it via text or email, it's hard to read the context of their mood through a text or an email. And that's some side note. I've always promised my team I will never, in anger, text, because I hate that. I think that's a cowardly way out. And I said, if there's ever anything serious I need to talk to you about, I will call you, or I will talk to you face to face, because they can't hear the reflection in my voice. So I do a lot of videos. I do a video of what I need to talk about, like not directly to someone, but like for the whole group, like something that we need to focus on, and I'll put it out there so they can hear the reflection of my voice, see my face. They know I'm not mad, you know, and that helps a lot too when I'm tied up and I can't directly talk to a bunch of them. But I like,
that's a cool idea.
Yeah, it's nice, because and I've asked the same respect out of our employees, like, don't ever text in anger, like, talk to me, talk to us. But like he said, it's defeating sometimes when people come and bark at you. So one thing we've been working on, and when I talk with my management team, is how do we protect each other from negativity? Because it shouldn't just be coming on one person. Like, so if the call comes from one person, how does that person kind of help protect the rest of the management team or from that negativity? If there's a better way to communicate that negativity instead of,
what's the problem, Spence?
That's a great question.
So someone calls in
with a complaint, for example, and then this happened this week. We had a complaint, and then I had a manager that's just like, and her whole demeanor came down. I was on in the room with her when she got off the phone. I said, "What's going on?" And I said, "First of all, let's raise your head up a little bit and let's just talk."
So what was the issue?
Oh, it's just a quality complaint. Okay. We missed something or something.
So what? Because obviously your manager cares.
Yeah, she cares, and they take things too personally.
So what are you trying to change?
I'm just trying to. You can't change the complaints. They're going to happen here and there. I'm just trying to change how you view and how you let those things affect you, because they're not calling in to like belittle you and to take away your birthday and stuff, but like they're calling you just because they're in pain. They're in pain. They want to get out of pain, and you're the doctor. You're supposed to be there to help them get out of pain. But at the same time, you got to get off of that and not let it affect you the rest of the day. I used to let it affect me all day or all weekend. But now when I hear that kind of stuff, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do everything I can in my power to fix this. And after I've done everything I can do, I'm not worrying about it anymore. Because why? You're only defeating yourself. Like, you're only taking that away from your children, your wife when you're home, when you're not being a fun dad or a fun husband.
And that's not why you started a business.
Exactly. You don't serve your business. Your business is here to serve you.
I think that those are all good things, Spencer. And, you hear from a lot of people know Jocko Willink with his the discipline, discipline equals freedom. And he talks about that there's no bad teams, only bad leaders.
Yep.
And then he goes in depth about the dichotomy of leadership. And that's a good one. But what I was going to say is, when do you know when it's right to let someone go?
As an employee or as a customer?
That's a tough one. No, both maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you've had to do both.
Yeah.
So there's times that,
When do you do it?
You feel, for me, it's just like, okay, obviously you've done these actions that are against the core values, the grains of our company.
Okay.
And that's a big one for us. Like, if you constantly are going against the core values, like, okay, we've given you a warning. We talk about how by using our core values, we can fix the behavior.
Sure.
And if it keeps continuing and you can't.
If you have a core belief. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
As a company.
And sometimes you hire someone with your core values in mind and you feel like they're a fit, but sometimes the wrong ones sneak through. And that's where you have to kind of filter them out as you see them work. That's why we have a working week interview where they come on and they work for a week and we see, are we going to be a fit or not?
I think that's great, Spencer. And I think just to summarize what you just said, I think that that because everyone wants to be, most good companies have opportunities for other people in other areas.
Yep.
Hey, let's see what we can do to help you grow and develop as a person, right?
Yep.
As well as within the company. But that you're at that point when you can truly look to yourself and say, I did everything I can do. I literally did everything I can do. And now I feel good about the decision moving forward.
Yep.
But if you're too focused on that individual, you're not focused on the mission.
That's right.
And you're going to let down your team because you picked that individual or that certain circumstance over the team.
That's right. I like it. You don't want to get into the warm body syndrome. I just need a body, so I got to keep him for just another week.
Like I said earlier, man, I feel like we made every mistake, and that was a mistake. I know I've made it. I'll probably make it again. I like it. But warm body. Yeah, we call it warm body syndrome. Like, if we've done that. And I know we're going to cut this into 2 episodes. And this is the last part of the episode of this part 2. But we've been there because we're swamped with work and we've let someone slip by. Hey, let's just let them continue until next week, until we get some more applicants come in.
And they're underperforming.
And then they end up completely wrecking something or just completely messing stuff up or really affecting our relationship with our client. And then it is so much worse for us if we would just fired him or her or he or she at the beginning, had a little inconvenience to be able to fill in that spot for the rest of the week. We would have been so much better off by cutting bait and run, so.
It's hard to do.
It is hard.
Take the personality test. If your personality is one that has a hard time with conflict or doing that, then it's going to be a weakness. And if you don't know your strengths and your weaknesses, then how do you know what to work on or what you can do to do better? Right? I agree. Well, I think we're going to have a third part to this. So we'll have to come back again because this is a good conversation. I think people are going to get a lot out of this conversation. So, but we got to close it up right now. Unless, Bret, is there anything I didn't ask that I should have talked about?
No, it's been great. I really appreciate this. I didn't know about it until yesterday, so I'm going to dig in more.
Okay.
I know some of the folks that have been on it.
Rate and review.
Yeah, I need to do that too.
I'm excited to hear some of the other podcasts. And I love Pocatello. I'm excited about the growth. It's just a great place to live and to be able to support local businesses here. Just speaks to my heart.
Yep, so, I love it.
Yeah, thanks for letting us be a part of this.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Appreciate you guys coming on the show. And before we stop, we got to do a little quick sponsorship timeout, and then I've got one more question, and then we'll be done. But the Pocatello Business Podcast is also sponsored by the Great Dells Outdoor Advertising Company. If you want a billboard, you want some top of mind awareness, these guys are the ones to call. Call Rob. You can get him at 208-232-6886, and he will hook you up with a billboard. If you sign up for 3 months, you'll get the first month for free or your installation for free. I'm telling you guys, if you do it right and you put a trackable number on a billboard, like I have one on 4th and Clark right now for Nuclean.
Like CallRail.
CallRail. You do that, that's the only way they can call. That number is on that billboard. It's trackable. So I just got a call a couple weeks ago from the billboard, because I know it's just from that number, and I got a contract from it. It's paying for that billboard, getting an ROI on it. That's what billboards are there for, top of mind awareness and for good trackable information, 6 to 8 words, and make it really stand out. So call Rob today, call Pack and Go. These guys will help you out. What's the number to call Darren at Pack and Go?
Yeah, Pack and Go, 208-339-2229. Yeah.
That's right.
Memory.
That's right. You get your first month for free if you sign up for 3 months of storage. So those are our sponsors. We got to end our podcast with something we always do. What are your favorite local restaurant to eat at here?
Yeah, and you know what? There's been some restaurants on the podcast, and I've been able to eat there, and that's great. Like, I have to say that there's a place that we go to all the time that hasn't been said
Okay,
yet.
let's make it happen.
People love it or they hate it, but we love it, and it's Kowloon.
Hey,
Yeah.
I love Kowloon.
Yeah, that is many of our favorite. Yeah, there's several of us here that love that the most. That's where we go.
Well, and that's the thing is Pocatello has so many good places that like locally owned, and that's what it hit me when I was listening to this, and I'm like, man, what am I doing? I'm not going to go to a chain restaurant. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go support someone.
Yeah, and we're not anti-chain at the same time, because there are local franchisees and that we want to support for sure. But we definitely love the local joints. So, well, perfect. Appreciate you guys being on the show. We're going to have them on again because this is a good conversation to keep going. But thanks again, and we will chat with you guys later, and we'll see you guys later. Adios.
Congratulations on spending a couple minutes getting just a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Pocatello business community. If you are feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.